Hey everyone, this is K3. Thanks for watching this Macho 30 and 3 tutorial. Summoning Salt just got a new world record, and noticed in his video that he was doing a different strat that I didn't really understand. So I spent a few days playing around with Macho and trying to get this video together to help break down what he did in that world record run and, you know, all the different sort of branches involved and stuff like that. I'm not sure if there's a better name for it. I'll just call it 30 and 3. I'm calling it that because if they execute it right and the RNG hits, then you'll get a phase 1 time of 30 seconds with 3 stars headed into phase 2. This strategy is somewhat advanced, so if you're comfortable with the 28-second strat, this should be like no problem for you. But it does involve a lot of fun tech like dizzy destroyers, guard manipulation, max damage uppercuts, reverse max damage uppercuts. It's a fun fight, but if you don't know what those are, then learning the beginner strat or the 28-second strat would probably be a better place to start. You can find a link to the Speedrunning Wiki in the description below, which will help break some of those down. The way I'm going to try to do this tutorial is really just going to be kind of following the happy path first. So we'll go through phase 1 with the different paths to get 30 and 3, phase 2, phase 3, and then at the end we'll kind of break down what happens if you don't get the pattern and how to get through the fight. Now, before we break down phase 1, I think it's also important to talk about when this strategy is useful. Having 28 seconds and 2 stars into phase 2 is actually ideal. So this strategy is really more of an augmentation of that strat. So you can get some pretty decent times if you're struggling to react in time to decide to go down the 30 and 3 path. But this strat can turn what would essentially be a phase 1 with 28 and 1 star into a 30 and 3. Just kind of for context, a 28 and 2 should net times faster than 54 seconds, whereas a 28 and 1 can get times all the way up to like 58 seconds if things start going badly. Whereas a 30 second with 3 stars, phase 1 should get times anywhere from 51 to like 55, 56 seconds. So this strategy can be extremely useful in saving what would eventually be potential run-ending scenarios where you need a fast Macho time. All right, so let's get started with phase 1. I'm going to show how Summoning Salt executes at first, which to me is slightly more difficult, but it might be useful for somebody. Then I'll show a version of the 30-second, which is a bit more akin to the 28 and 2 strat, but it involves ducking. All right, so let's get started. To start off the fight, it's actually identical almost to the 28-second strat. So you're going to start off with a dizzy destroyer in the same way that you start off the 28-second strat. However, in the 28-second strat, you would normally delay and then do a duck. That would set up a gut punch because it manipulates his guard, and then lots of other fun things happen. In this case, we don't do the duck. We actually watch Macho and determine if he's doing a hook or an uppercut. He'll get the hook 75% of the time, so we'll cover that first. Okay, so you can see we got the hook and the 2 face pops just like in the 28-second strat. We also see that the first face pop didn't get us a lucky star, so we know we're not on the happy path for a 28 and 2, but this is an opportunity to go for 30 and 3. The next thing we're going to do, and you can see I'm doing it here, is buffer a left gut punch. After that, we're going to collect another star and hope that we collect it from an uppercut. If it's an uppercut, we likely have the good pattern. Lastly, we're going to buffer a left gut punch again and hope it intercepts a second uppercut. If so, then we're getting the good pattern and we'll be set up for 30 and 3. Cool. So we're intercepting his second uppercut, which means he's preparing for a spin punch, but he's not going to live that long. What we do next is, after we cancel that second uppercut, is 2 max damage uppercuts. Then we press up to raise his guard, throw a right gut, then a misdirected left gut, and then delay and throw 2 face punches. And that will close out with 30 and 3. And down he goes. And we'll run through this at full speed a couple of times and just try to quick recap of everything that's involved. So we get the hook here, do the 2 face pops, cancel, get the star, cancel, max damage, right, left misdirected, 2 face. We'll do it again. Starts off with a dizzy, it's a hook, with a star, 2 face pops, cancel, it's an upper, cancel. There it is. We'll do it one more time, just for thoroughness. A dizzy, it's a hook, 2 face punches, cancel. It was an upper there, cancel the other upper, 2 max damages, right, left, face, face. And that's phase 1 with a hook. Okay, so next we'll talk about if you get an upper at the very beginning of the fight. Uppers are a little trickier. It's almost identical except the very beginning, and I'll walk you through that part and show you some examples. Alright, so we go back to the fight and we open with a dizzy just like before, and I've paused right here and you can see that Macho is ducking like he's going to do an uppercut. This is what happened to Salt in his world record run, and what you have to do here is just dodge and collect a star like before, except instead of 2 face pops, we're going to raise his guard, throw a right gut punch, then a misdirected right gut punch, and then cancel with a left gut punch. And then we will go and collect a star again and also hope for an upper just like before. And you can see we're canceling that second upper, so we know we got the pattern. Alright, and down he goes. We'll do this three more times just to make sure we got it. So again, we open with a dizzy. We see that the upper's coming. Now we know what to do. 2 to the rights, cancel, back on the normal path again. Two more times. Starts with the dizzy. Get the 2 guts, cancel. Look with the 2 uppers, 2 max damages, right, left, face, face. One more time. Dizzy, it's an upper, 2 rights, cancel, get the star, cancel, max damage, right, left, face, face. And that's phase 1. Good path. And if you didn't like all of that mess, you can do it the same way as 28 seconds where you duck first. It's the exact same. Cut, face, face. So phase 2 is actually really simple. You're essentially going to try to use all 3 stars. It's actually very similar to the phase 3 strategy if you've got 3 stars in the 28 second strat. You'll open with a max damage uppercut. You'll throw a left gut punch. If it's blocked, you'll throw another one. Otherwise, you'll throw 2 at the end. And we'll walk through that. Okay, so we started it off with a max damage uppercut. And then we buffered a left gut, and we were optimistically buffering a max damage uppercut, but he backed up. So we need to quickly let go of that max damage uppercut before it goes off. And then we're going to let him do his punch thing. We're going to throw a star at the end, and then throw a reverse max damage uppercut. And there it is. And we'll watch it one more time. Again, we start off with a max damage uppercut. Buffer B, he backs up. Dodge. star, reverse max damage uppercut, and 39 seconds. That's pretty cool. So if he doesn't back up early, what you'll see instead is he'll get blocked on that second gut punch, then just throw a second max damage uppercut, wait for him to back up and do a spin attack, and then knock him down with a final star punch. Pretty simple. Max damage uppercut, block, max damage uppercut, spin, start. Pretty easy. Okay, and for phase 3, it's pretty simple as well. You're going to go into it with 0 stars, and the only variation on the strat is really going to depend on whether you had an early backup or a late backup in phase 2. We'll start with early backup, so we'll be starting with 39 seconds and 0 stars. So if you had the short delay in phase 2, then you know his guard's gonna drop. So you basically just do a Dizzy Destroyer, then lift his guard and throw one more left gut, and then dodge his spin attack, throw a star, and then finish with a reverse max damage. One more time. Dizzy. One more gut. Dodge. Star. Reverse max damage. And it's the same really if you get the long delay in phase 3, you just wait longer for the spin punch. And then lastly, in phase 3, if he gave you the longer delay in phase 2, then his guard's going to be up. So you need to wait just a little bit, do 2 face pops, raise his guard, and a left gut, and then the exact same ending. And the long delay. Just one last point on this, which can save about a second in a run if you're able to read it quickly enough. If you get the long delay in phase 2 and you get the lucky star on those first 2 face punches, then you don't need to raise his guard to do a gut punch. You just do the 2 face pops, wait, and then again do the star and the reverse max damage. So that takes us to the last section, the bad patterns. So if you don't get the 28 and 2, you go for the 30 and 3 in phase 1, he can still throw a hook. And the way things work out is the same backups that you would have done on the 28 and 2 don't really work. Some of this I'm not super fluent in, so these are the best that I could come up with. There may be a better approach to some of this, but I will go through a few of the shenanigans that can happen in bad patterns for Macho. Okay, so we started the strat going for the 28 and 2, but we didn't get that early lucky star, so we canceled and went down the path for 30 and 3, and then we hoped for an uppercut. Unfortunately, we can see here he's throwing a hook, so we have the bad pattern. So what do? Well, we have 2 stars now, and after we collect this star from the hook, we'll be at 3 stars. So rather than just collecting that star and canceling out like we would for the 30-second phase 1, we'll collect the star, dodge the next punch and stun him and throw the star punch, bringing us back to 2 stars. Then we'll watch to see if our next punch is a hook or end upper. And we can see here that it's an upper. If we see an upper, we want to collect a star and then hope he's about to go into spin punches after the next 2 uppercuts. So we attempt to cancel those 2 and then throw 2 max damage uppercuts, assuming he actually goes down to throw on each of those 2 cancels. We'll watch that again one more time. And now we'll cover what happens if he throws a hook instead. Here we recognize its bad pattern. And if it's a hook, we dodge, stun, and throw a star. We then hope for an uppercut where we collect a star, buffer a left gut to cancel the incoming uppercut, and throw a max damage uppercut for 37 and 1. Again, it's possible he doesn't throw an uppercut there, or he doesn't drop to cancel, so you could lose even more time. And just to show what it looks like when he doesn't drop for the uppercuts, you can just play it out for about 42 and 3. And last but not least is the Fakeout Pattern. So in the 30 and 3 strat, there is a chance that the Fakeout will happen, and it happens in a slightly different way. I will play a video of getting knocked out by it, and then we'll focus on how to handle it. So you'll notice on the very last cancel, Macho never went down to do the uppercut. And so when we tried to finish out the phase, we got tagged. So instead, you can just treat it like you got the hook earlier, and use the same strats from before. And we'll watch an example of that here. And that's it. This is the first tutorial video I've done, so I hope you enjoyed it. Again, we also have a wiki that documents a lot of speedrunning strategies for MTPO, and I expect this will be added to it soon as well. I put a link to that in the description below, as well as a link to Salt's world record run timestamped for the Macho fight. Lastly, I'd like to thank Summoning Salt for reviewing some of the early versions of this video for accuracy. There's a few different branches, and I wanted to be sure that I didn't lead anyone astray, and he was super helpful in clarifying a few points. Thanks, everyone.